I'm Maureen, founder of Lifeshiift. My mission is to help women live a healthy, vibrant life filled with purpose, connection, and adventure. Hello, everyone. This is Maureen Atkinson, founder of Lifeshiift. And this video is 3 ways to keep moving. And we all want to stay fit, but the fitness industry is really challenging. If you find it intimidating or are a little bored by it, but you still want to keep moving and you still want to keep healthy and active, this is the video for you. So to do this, I am joined today by Lee-Anne Reuber, who is the founder of Sekond Skin Society, which is a virtual fitness service. And she's going to talk a little bit about that. But let me tell you, I'm really happy to have Lee-Anne here because I really love the idea that her society is built on inclusion, and that it's not about being perfect. So she and I met through Thinking into Results, which is a coaching system that Hannah Khan has. And we really bonded about the idea of making things accessible, making sure that everyone has goals that are achievable, and that regardless of age or fitness level, that you can achieve things and you can make it work for you. So I'm not going to say any more, but I am going to turn it over to Lee-Anne. So thank you very much for being here, Lee-Anne, and take it away.
Thank you for having me, first of all, Maureen. It's really great. I feel honored to be seen and to have my business seen in the way that you see it, which is really, you know, our core values are inclusivity, diversity, and body positivity. And along kind of intertwined with all of those themes is accessibility. So the way that I look at the business and the way that we make decisions for the business is really based on removing barriers for people in accessing movement and also filling gaps. So who are we not actually serving right now, and how can we provide an option for them, and how can we make you know, something that might typically be a very boring type of physiotherapy class, how can we actually provide them, those people that need that type of movement, with something that's fun, with something that they look forward to every day. For us, and you know, the platform that I've created, it's really about movement for everyone. Everyone needs to be able to have access to movement, and everyone needs to move their body in whatever way that feels good, that works for them. So that's kind of, you know, the way that I see the fitness industry. There are just many, many flaws in the fitness industry.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I think the more I look at the fitness industry as a whole and how it's been established, the more flaws I see. So I really have taken it upon myself to try and address some of those things in whatever way that I can. It's not, as you said, about looking a certain way, or, you know, underrepresentation is just very obvious in the fitness industry. The way everything is marketed is really towards weight loss, or really towards changing the way your body looks. But the problem is that movement actually should be for everyone, regardless of if they have a goal for weight loss or if they have a goal to change the way their body looks. So all of those kinds of ways of thinking about accessibility and just providing options for people, that's really what we're all about, is listening to our members, providing movement for people for every age and stage of life. So prenatal, mom and baby, kids classes, family classes, classes for adults and older adults. And then of course, we understand that as our bodies change, when we go through all of those different stages of life, what we need is going to change also. There's no one size fits all, and there really should never be. What my body feels good doing right now is different than it was a year ago, and will be different than it is, in 20 years from now. The way that I move my body will look a lot different. So that's really what we're about, is just continuing to look at how people are accessing movement and what they need, and providing that for our members, and looking at who we don't actually have as a membership, and figuring out a way that we can serve them so that we can bring them in and make them understand, society is about belonging. Sekond Skin Society is really about having a place where you understand that you do belong with us. So that's what we're all about. And when you and I had chatted about this opportunity to look at movement, and really provide 3 ways that you could make movement more accessible for you as your body is changing, as you're getting older, your needs are changing. This is what I really started to think about, was the options that we have on our platform, that are maybe more geared towards older adults, or are just geared for people that just need movement in a different way. So the 3 ways that we can take to make movement a little bit more accessible. Number 1 is to practice your movement routine from a chair or from a wall rather than on the floor. So a lot of people look at yoga as being, a great way to build strength in a less intense style of movement, of course, depending on what style of yoga you choose to take. But even for people who are practicing a downward facing dog, that can be really hard on your joints. That can be really difficult for people if they have, problems with their wrists or soreness in their shoulders. So there are always ways that you can adapt your movement or your yoga practice or any type of practice by sitting from a chair and adjusting the movement that way, or actually practicing with a wall. It helps to take some of the weight off of the body, and then you're just focusing on the engagement of the muscles themselves. Another way that you can start to look at building strength in a maybe a little bit of a different way is by looking at very, very light weights using bands. So low intensity bands, so not the really challenging, tough ones, or by using no weights at all. So we talk a lot, or I talk a lot, especially when I'm coaching, about intentional movement. So really putting an emphasis on which muscles that you're using, so that when you see someone who is activating their bicep and they might be lifting weights here, you can really just intentionally flex your muscle in the same range of motion, using the exact same movement without a weight, and still be working on building that muscle. Again, it helps to take pressure off of joints if using weights isn't something that doesn't feel good for you. So I love the option of using no weights, no bands. Then when you start to feel really good and strong, maybe you add in 2-pound weights. Maybe when you start to feel really strong there, maybe then you add in 5-pound weights, or you just stay at the 2-pound weights and understand that you can build all kinds of strength without using 10, 15, 20, 30-pound weights. And then the other piece, as far as helping to make movement accessible, is practicing movement in a less intense or a slower pace. So even when we think about cardio, it's really important that we do have movement practices that elevate the heart rate. It's great to work that heart muscle, but you don't have to participate in cardio movement that is a lot of jumping or bouncing around. So there are lots of low impact type of classes that you can take that don't, again, put that pressure on the joints, but still allow you to raise your heart rate. Even when you think about jumping jacks would be a really kind of high intensity type of movement,
sure, yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going on in the body, but you're still able to elevate the heart rate by just stepping your foot out right to left instead of actually jumping your feet in and out. when you practice in that way and you start to get a little bit faster just by stepping, you're taking the impact out of the joints, but you're still able to get that heart rate up. So we do have some, some low impact cardio options. We definitely have some low intensity style of strength training classes. We have lots of options for people to participate in classes from a chair, from a wall. We're actually building a library of classes that people can participate in from their bed. Or if there's a circumstance that you maybe have assistance coming into your home to help you. Again, when we talked about that kind of physiotherapy type of class, we want to provide that same kind of really functional and intentional movement for the people that need it, but in a way that is maybe just a little bit more fun than thinking about, getting into a physiotherapist routine. Most of the time people that they dread it more than they look forward to it.
Not a lot of music and inspiration there, is there?
No. So we're really just looking at, what currently exists, and how can we make it better? How can we make it something that people look forward to? Movement really should be joyful. That's not to say that every day we all wake up and are excited about movement or excited about getting in some exercise. There's certainly days where we need the rest, and the rest is productive for us on those days. But for as much as we possibly can, we want to provide people just with options that allow them to embrace movement and to really love the way their bodies can move for them. And I love what you're doing, Maureen, because I think the older we get, the more we become disconnected, or we can become disconnected from how important movement is, until all of a sudden we're starting to recognize that our body can't do all of the things that it used to. We want to encourage people to love movement all the way until their late years. So thank you so much for.
That's great. So just to wind up and wrap up, you say, okay, there is the idea of chair yoga, the idea of wall yoga, the idea of using bands instead of weights, but to continue to build muscle and build flexibility, but without the issue of harming your joints or putting pressure on them. So,
right. Yes.
There you have it. From the experts. So look below and we will have a link to Sekond Skin Society. Take a look at what they have there. And if you enjoyed some of the clips that were running through our conversation, just ask for more information. Thank you so much, Lee-Anne.
Thank you, Maureen.
Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel below and follow us on Instagram to get regular updates and new content. It's Lifeshiift, Lifeshiift.